Mahler was born on July 7, 1860 in Bohemia, which is now the Czech Republic. Since childhood, he was tormented by racial tensions. He was Jewish and a part of a German-speaking Austrian minority, making him an outsider in both the indigenous Czech population and the Austrian minority. These afflictions from his childhood perhaps explain some of the characteristics and themes that pervade his music: the nervous tension, obsession with death, and the determination to discover meaning in life. When Mahler was 4, his musical talent became apparent when he recreated the military and folk music sung by the Czech working people on accordion and piano. This was another early influence on his later music, inspired by military and popular styles, as well as sounds of nature. At age 15, he was accepted at the Vienna Conservatory, where he made the decision to go into conducting for a more stable life, leaving composing for summer vacations. In the following 17 years, Mahler rose to the very top, becoming the artistic director of the Vienna Court Opera in 1897. He was a revered conductor during his lifetime, and only reached real fame as a composer posthumously due to the public's lack of comprehension. Being born at the end of the Romantic period, he was the end of the line beginning with Mozart and branched into modern composition techniques, including the use of sounds from everyday life, such as bird calls and bugle signals, and progressive tonality, or ending in a different key than the piece started in. Mahler also later influenced Schoenberg, Shostakovich, and Britten. As a result of growing up in Bohemia, the heart of Europe, as a composer, Mahler's musical influences were divided geographically between East and West. On the West, he had the traditional musical styles of Mozart and Beethoven, and on the East, he had Slavic, Jewish, and even as far east as Chinese influences. Mahler took to his composing hut and began writing his first symphony in late 1887. He saw his symphonic writing as an expression of his worldview, and in his early symphonies, he input the personal, philosophical, and religious questions that concerned him. Because of this, he has often been called a symphonizing philosopher. In this way, his life was framed in his symphonies. The first symphony deals with the idea of transcendence, the overcoming of misery and suffering. It is autobiographical of his youth. Starting off joyfully, it becomes clouded with an obsession with death in the third movement, a grotesque parody of the children's song Feierlch. The fourth symphony is Mahler's meditations on life after death. It presents a child's vision of heaven, revealing another division in Mahler's character. He was torn between man and child, and his fourth symphony explores his struggle to recapture those pure, unmixed, overflowing emotions of childhood, going from vibrant happiness to complete heartbreaking sadness. After he was appointed to the Vienna Opera post, Mahler found new stability and maturity, and his middle symphonies reflect this more balanced period in his life. He married Alma Maria Schindler in 1902 and had 2 daughters. The course of his fifth symphony moves from mourning to triumph, reflective of this development in his personal life. Mahler embodied the love for his wife in the passionate fourth movement. Mahler's Sixth Symphony moves out of the darkness with difficulty and then back into total night. He originally wrote 3 wooden sledgehammer strokes in the 4th movement, but later took out the 3rd strike because of his superstitious nature, not wanting to have a 3-fold jinx of fate. It proved to be prophetically autobiographical. In the next year, he would have to deal with the death of his daughter, a forced resignation from the Vienna court opera, and the diagnosis of the fatal heart condition that would kill him 4 years later. At the end of his middle period, he composed the monumental 8th Symphony. (1907) was pivotal. Mahler left the Vienna Opera in the summer due to a rising campaign to force him out despite his work making the opera world famous, and became a wanderer again. He came to America to conduct the New York Metropolitan Opera, but had to return when his family fell ill in Austria. Later on, his 5-year-old daughter Maria died of diphtheria. A few days later, Mahler was diagnosed with a severe cardiac insufficiency. His world had been turned upside down, and therefore his symphonies changed as well. Afraid of dying after the 9th Symphony like Beethoven and Bruckner, Mahler would not call his next symphony number 9, and instead referred to it as Das Lied von der Erde, or the Song of the Earth. Ironically, however, he died after writing his Symphony number 9, in actuality his 10th Symphony. Das Lied von der Erde is a 6-movement song cycle symphony that views the bittersweet fading away of all human things while the earth endures. The influence of Chinese music and poetry are apparent in it, especially in the last movement called the Farewell. Unlike previous symphonies which end in glorious finales, Mahler's late works end in an ethereal manner, dying away, a statement of his final comment on human existence.